Hi, and welcome to M&M Reviews. My name is Margarita, but you can call me Rita.
And my name is Miraj, and you can call me Miraj.
And today we are reviewing Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode
Episode 4.
Would you like to give us a recap of the episode, Maraj?
I'll give us a quick recap. So in this episode we start off by, Captain America, Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Zemo. The Winter Soldier informs them that the Dora Milaje are there and they have 8 hours with Zemo. So then they go out and they try to find Morgenthau, which is the leader of the Flag Smashers. And they go to this place and they talk to some people and Zemo don't want to get any information. And then after that, Zemo is holding on to the information so he has some leverage. And then when they're about to go to the place where Morgenthau is and follow Zemo, fake Captain America and his buddy Star something. Well, yeah, his buddy, the black guy. They come and they're like, enough. Oh, we're gonna be a part of this. Don't lie to us. And then and then they all go together and confront Morgenthau. But Sam is like, oh no, let me talk to her. And then he talks to her and they're about to get along. They're about to resolve shit via the oral tradition of resolving shit. Then of course Captain America, the new and fake one, he's an asshole, so he storms in and he's like, oh, smash, smash, smash. And then there's a fight and Morgenthau runs away, but Zemo, he sneaks up behind her and he shoots her, bam. And then he starts destroying all the super soldier serums, and then Captain America, the fake one, comes in, throws the shield on Zemo, takes the super soldier serum.
The last remaining
vial. Then at a later point when they're really gathering up the Flag Smasher, it's become clear that he's taken one. And there's this fight and the black guy, his friend, dies, and then he loses it, and
fake Captain America
loses it and he really kills one of the Flag Smashers. Oh yeah, and in between there's this epic scene which we'll talk about with the Dora Milaje where they just kick ass and Zemo escapes.
Yeah, that's a really great recap.
Thank you so much for that really great recap.
You're thanking yourself for the great recap?
Yeah, I'm thanking myself for the
Thanks, Raj. Okay, and now it's time for my segment where I talk about the things I liked and I disliked.
Yeah.
So I liked a lot of things about this episode. There were so many highlights. So my number one highlight, this is not in any particular order, but the top highlight I have is Zemo. He was just a highlight of the entire episode. Every time he was on screen, I was just excited. I wanted to see more of him. I love his outfit. I love the way he talks. I love the body language. I love the writing for the character. I just really love everything about him because he's so weird and so strange and very cool and very interesting and just a really captivating character. He really has a great chemistry with everybody.
You know what I really liked about Zemo this episode? One thing in particular. I don't know if you picked up on it, but you know how in Captain America Civil War, he has this whole thing in the beginning where he kind of captures one of the Hydra people, and he's has this speech about how he's a man of great patience and dedication, right? I feel you really can see it in his eyes in this episode, how he's a man of great patience and dedication. That vibe really comes forth, because when he just shoots her and then he really destroys all the vials. It's that's dedication. He didn't even hesitate to take one. He's no, I have this view and I'm gonna go for it, And the patience I think really comes through because it's always it seems he's always planning ahead.
Yeah.
So I just really like that way.
Yeah, I really like the mannerisms that the character has because he's very non-reactive in a way, right? Emotionally.
Yeah.
But it's not oh, he's too cool or he's above it. It's you can just really tell that this is the way he's chosen to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's very magnetic and it really makes him sparkle and shine as a character. You're wow, this is a person with a fucking vision of how they want to respond to the world around them based on what they want to accomplish.
Exactly.
And they're not misguided and they're trying to be stoic, whatever. It's he's in his true essence on his way.
Yeah. And that's where you really sense the patience and the dedication of this man, And it's it makes sense that he was arguably the second greatest villain to the Avengers after Thanos, because wow.
Yeah, and I also think he has this sense of his own power where, he's the guy that made Captain America fight Iron Man.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It's like he doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I really liked. I mean, I just feel like they're delivering so well with his character, and they're just making such. And this actor is wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, so and the second thing I really liked in this episode is the downfall of the fake Captain America, the Walker, right?
Yeah.
So throughout the episode, he obviously has this arc where he's just really losing it more and more about how he is not a super soldier and all he has is a shield and he needs to prove himself and this is his one chance and he's going to do what's right and he's Captain America.
Yeah.
And it's like the stress and the pressure. It's just, they do so well to show that also. There's just so many of these like micro moments where they cut to him and he's just like...
Yeah.
And
he's really good at subtle acting.
Yeah, he's really good at subtle acting. And then they also give him lines that are kind of like,
or at least that subtle acting, this like unhingedness coming forth.
But I love people who act unhinged in a subtle way.
Yeah.
So I think that was really well done, and again, like well written and really well executed, because he clearly feels that he deserves or like needs more power. You know, he gets so upset being beaten by the Dormi logic, although it's like, of course that was going to happen. What did you expect, you know? So that was a really big highlight, and I it's quite interesting that he's a super soldier. Very
but he killed the guy. They will take away the shield, right? From him, like the US government.
That's what you say.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Like, does the US government usually take away weapons from people when they use them to kill people?
No, but it's like in such a public...
He killed a terrorist. No, I guess it's bad for Captain America's image. But what did they think was going to happen?
It's true.
Because this man is no Steve Rogers.
No Steve Rogers.
Okay, a third thing I really liked in this episode was I think that they're doing Sam really great justice. He's really blooming. I would really compare him to a magnolia flower. I would say he's a really
he's coming into his own for sure.
He's like a very big bloom, like a very gentle, tender, beautiful bloom. So I really like what they're doing with him in terms of, he's kind of sympathetic to the terrorists, but he's not sympathetic to what they're doing, but he's not as quick to see things in this black and white way, because he's kind of in the in-between. And I feel he also, like Zemo, has a bit of this sense of his own power, right? Because he's an Avenger. He doesn't need to jump in and be like, like they say it's like this, so I need to agree. And I feel like he also has this kind of quiet power energy, and he's really doing things the way that feels right for him and believing in his right to do that. So not only is he acting with integrity, but it's this very assured integrity. And I really like that for him. It's a good look.
You know something they did that was really skillful in this episode? Because I feel like they really want you, right, to be sympathetic for the Flag Smashers. And I feel like it's like, in one way, they're kind of failing with that. Because it's like too much exposition-based sympathy. There's just like, they just say
remember when we were suffering together?
Yeah, it's like one world, one people, and it's just like they're kind of shoving it at you.
Yeah, they're like, here's a lady with a hijab, and here's two people from different Christian traditions, you know.
But in this episode, I started feeling a bit of sympathy for them, and this is where the skill of the kind of like storytelling and how they use Sam is like, they make Sam feel sympathy for them, and then like by extension you feel sympathy for them, because you know Sam is such a like he's really coming into his own, and as he's coming into his own, you get drawn into the Sam perspective, and then if Sam has sympathy for them, that like ripples off, and you have
I agree, that was very skillful.
So I thought that was really skillful.
Okay, so maybe now and the fourth thing I liked is obviously the Dormi logic. I mean, it's just any time like anybody from Wakanda ever shows up anywhere, you just want to like give a standing ovation, because everything is just so on point. Like they're so cool,
I
this actress.
I love the fact that they reused the move where you will be moved lady.
Yeah, and I mean,
I get the goosebumps whenever she
yeah,
was
we
in
both
there.
really got the chills when she was initially confronting Bucky. It was like, oh my god, this woman is a really great actor, and I would not. Yeah, it just she really frightens you with her frightening performance.
Yeah,
So I
I
was
could
like,
totally
damn.
see her also now that Chadwick Boseman is dead. To have like a bigger role in the next Black Panther because they have to fill up, you
Yeah.
know, the with other great actors, and she's obviously good. You
She's
know.
so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really fun, and it was just fun to have that fight scene. I mean, they're just great. I love that they're here, and I mean, also it makes sense that they're there, so I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I'm just gonna talk a bit critically about stuff I don't like, although I really enjoyed this
Let
episode.
me say one thing I like first.
Yeah.
Just one thing, because you covered all the ground. I loved everything you said. But one additional thing which I liked, I really liked this like, and it was like a bit shallow, and you know it's a Marvel movie, so a Marvel series, so they're not gonna go deep into it. But I like the kind of like surface level meditation on like the super serum, you know, the super soldier serum, like in the conversations with Simo and Sam, and you know, fake Captain America and his partner. I just really like that, and I like the whole shtick about Simo being like, you know. How it leads to supremacy, and it's like a supremacist ideology in a bottle. I like that, and this whole really like noting that, you know, the only one who has taken the serum hasn't become unhinged is Captain America. It was just nice to see even Simo acknowledge that, yeah, there's only been one Steve, you know, there's only gonna be perhaps one Steve.
Are you gonna cry?
Yeah, I'm gonna cry a bit, you know, because Steve is the best. So I really liked what they did with.
No, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
And I really liked actually that, yeah, I agree that it was a bit shallow. So, but okay.
Yeah.
But I do like how they did manage to sprinkle it throughout the episode without being heavy-handed. I liked how all the characters had their own discussion about, oh, would you take it? Would you take the super serum?
Would I take the super serum? Yeah, I think I would take it. Would you take it?
I don't know. That seems a bit spooky to me.
Well, I
don't feel like I'm ready for that level of responsibility.
Okay, so yeah, I was gonna say
You're basically Steve Rogers in real life.
I wouldn't take it now, but I would take it like 2 years from now.
I mean, you're basically Steve Rogers.
Yeah, but I feel like I have some therapy. I need to get through some more stuff, you know, before I take it, you know.
Yeah, well, they're obviously not doing mental health checks because they gave it to this like PTSD Afghanistan guy.
Yeah.
So that doesn't seem to be a requirement.
No, but I just want to.
Yeah, no, it was well done. I liked it too, and I think that the questions they're asking, and this actually feeds back also, I think, into WandaVision, right? And also even into kind of Spider-Man, and I mean just all of this, you know, really like what is the role of these heroes in this world now that the most urgent threat has been eliminated and their power and all the potential dangers of it is completely exposed, and they're no longer unified by having to fight this one threat. It really is like, what is going to happen now? Should this be allowed? Is this okay?
So do you think, I know we hinted at this while watching the episode, but here's a theory I have, that Simo is Jewish, right? Because like in the apartment, right?
Yeah, they had the Stars of David in the stained glass.
Yeah, which is his fancy apartment, and that's the reason he's so opposed to super soldiers.
So it's a bit of like a Magneto style.
Yeah, exactly. It's because like he's opposed to anything that leads to supremacy and elevates one group of people above the other, because he knows a thing or two about people trying to do that, you know, due to his Jewish heritage. I feel like they weren't like confirming it, but I feel like that was like implicit in the episode.
I also felt it was implicit because it's hard to have such a deep ideological conviction when you have no personal relationship to a story, right?
Yeah.
I mean, his relationship previously was that they killed his family.
Yeah, and that the Avengers was like a casualty. Well, like that his family was a casualty of the Avengers in fighting in Sokovia. But I feel like now they're really like going even deeper with it.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like they're giving him that this isn't a revenge, like this is not an avenge my family thing. This is a kind of avenge humanity that has suffered from
yes,
this and avenge
exactly.
myself as a member of humanity.
Yeah.
And so I agree. It feels to me that they're hinting that he has some this deeper resolve, and I like that.
I like that too.
Because it's more realistic.
It's more realistic. So, what
Maybe
were the things
talking
you
a little bit
didn't like?
about some weaknesses. So, one thing that I thought, first of all, Sharon, I don't get what they're doing with her. So
It's like a plot device,
she is
right?
illegally living in Madripoor, and she has billions of dollars, and she has access to satellites. It's like how?
Yeah. It just doesn't.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. It just seems that they wanted to have a really cool character, and then they were like, "Oh, we could also make it a woman if we make it Sharon." You know, it's just. I just don't get it. I'm not opposed to her character to be like, I'll like go ahead, and I'm excited to see what they do with her. But I think it was just so forced and so weak compared to the rest of the episode, which was really flowering and blooming and flowing. It really felt like they just jammed those scenes in there with her, and it was just confusing to me. I think like a second weakness is, as we talked a little bit about already, I think with this flag smashers, there is just a lot of them talking about their past in this really contrived way.
Yeah, it's contrived.
It's almost, they don't want you to connect with them emotionally. Why
But
don't
they
they just
want
give
to.
you a
Yeah.
flashback scene?
I just think they're having a hard time with it, you know.
It's
pulling it
just...
off.
Because it's like, oh, remember when we were all lost and then we found each other. It's like, okay.
Yeah. What's the odds that we would come into this, all of us, into this one place? I feel like we were chosen.
Maybe it's also that the actress is like pretty good.
So I was going to say, let me say. So I feel like, as I agree, all of that is like bad. Which is weird, because I feel like the actress is good. Because like in her scene with Sam, the two sisters, she's good. She's good at acting. So she's really, I think, just they messed up the writing and the
but I was gonna say, I think she doesn't believe that kind of. Do you know what I mean? I feel like she's really good when she's in her super soldier mode. But this like backstory, I feel like she's just I don't know. It's something there that's not working for me.
I would like I would like bet that it has more to do with the writing and the directing.
I mean, she seems very cool. I think she's really pulling off this super slow. Although, you know, it's like we were talking during the episode, you know, Steve, he got the serum that makes you really hot. You know, I wonder if the new super soldiers are like, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Because this was supposed to be the perfected version of the serum because it doesn't make you all bulky and stuff. So
how is that the perfect?
How's that the better version of the serum, you know?
Yeah. And then one last thing that I thought was quite weak, and that seems a bit strange to me, is that so Captain America is just there with his buddy, and it's just the two of them, and they're not, the military isn't there, the government isn't there, and Captain America doesn't know what he's doing. He's clearly unstable, and he's not being supervised. I think the thing is, what I don't believe is that the government would give somebody Steve Rogers' shield and then leave that person basically unsupervised to run around the world and complete missions if they are not superpowered in any way, because the entire existence of this new Captain America is meant to be a PR move.
Exactly, yeah.
And he's supposed to be a symbol. Why? It just...
Plus, in the previous episode, they kind of made it a big shtick about like how he's like really within the embedded structure of the government and the military. Because, you know, he had this like dialogue with Sam and Bucky, you know, how he's like a part of that and they're outside of it. And, you know, he has resources that they don't have by virtue of that, right? But if he has access to those resources, then he is also confined by those constraints that comes with those resources.
Yeah, exactly. Sense. And I just don't believe this idea that it would be him and his buddy, and there's no backup,
no,
and they're fighting
I don't
these
believe
people.
So either. Yeah.
So and it's fine.
But it's like and that's a bit annoying in the episode because that was like the big part of that episode I didn't like. I mean, I think it's a great episode, so we don't have a lot of complaints either of us. It was by far the best.
I really enjoyed it.
But I think that bothered me the most because it's one of those things where like, they could just add a 2-minute clip to like fix it, right? Could just add something about how he really wants to prove himself. So him and his buddy, they had this conversation with some commander and officer, and they're like, "No, stand down. We're will go in when we know exactly where they are. Sam and Bucky, you know, let them identify them and track them down. They have more experience with this type of stuff, right? And then how that really like triggers him, and he's like, and that really ties into his whole thing about how he needs to prove himself to be Captain America. If they just added that, then suddenly that's not a problem of the episode, it's a strength of the episode. But then it's like the fact that it's so easy to add that and it's not there makes the weakness so more profound.
Yeah, and it's just felt weird to me to see him and this guy just charging down this mega street, just the two of them. It just seemed very, I don't know. But I really like how they're bringing in that everybody has these phones and is always filming stuff. Because in all these scenes, people are filming in the background. And again, that really brings me back to also the Spider-Man Far From Home thing. And just like this whole, the public perception and public monitoring of the heroes, and how, I mean, it is like a step what it was 10 years ago, you know, when this whole thing started and people didn't have that ability to, or that habit to just make thousands of videos constantly everywhere and really have this ongoing popular referendum of the image of people based on these actions. So I thought that was kind of, but again, that was the thing where I thought it was surprising that the fake Captain America would be having this discussion with Bucky and Sam in the middle of the street with people filming them around.
It was weird.
It's just, he doesn't act like a top military guy, but maybe it's just because he's losing it. I don't know.
That's true. He is very unbelievable as like a top military guy, actually. But perhaps he was never like a top military guy. Perhaps he was just like a bona fide soldier, if that makes sense. Perhaps he never got up to like the position of captain or like general or sergeant.
They just picked him for the chin.
Yeah, they just picked him because he was a really good soldier, you know. So that's it.
So that's about our takes. Anything else you feel was...
I just want to like, before we leave, I just want to say like one more time. It was so cool when the Dora Milaje was kicking ass, you know, when they come into the apartment. Because it's like 3 of them versus Sam, versus 1 super soldier, 2 soldiers who are supposed to be like the best soldiers in the US Army, an Avenger and Sam. And they were just really kicking ass, you know, and taking no prisoners. It was amazing. I just got the goosebumps. And I also thought Simo was so funny in that too, because he was like kind of just looking, and it's like, okay, I'm just gonna walk away now. Bye guys. So I love that scene. I thought it was a 10 out of 10 scene.
Yeah,
you know?
it was a really great scene. And then Captain America, they weren't even
super soldiers, and he looked so destroyed, you know, getting his ass kicked by this woman. And I liked Sam in the beginning. He was like, oh, you might want to take a rumble with the super soldier over there before you mess with the Dora Milaje. And I was like, yes, give them some respect, you know, because these are the people that fought Thanos twice, no hesitation.
That's
they
true.
just came back to life, and they were like, we go and we fight Thanos again, all of us, you know.
Without any superpowers.
You know.
Wakanda forever.
Very inspirational. Very inspirational. Yeah, so that's about it.
That is about it. Thank you very much for watching, and bye. See you next time.